Breaking news just came in. Meteorologists are now calling this winter situation a major issue, as the polar vortex is literally splitting in half right now, creating what experts are describing as the most dangerous atmospheric breakdown in years. What we are witnessing is not just extreme weather anymore. It is a complete atmospheric collapse that has already taken 153 lives and is putting millions of our most vulnerable neighbors at risk of freezing to death on our streets tonight. Right now, as I'm recording this, Central Park is sitting at 3 degrees Fahrenheit. That is actually colder than Antarctica. Dallas has been below freezing for over 200 consecutive hours straight. And here's what's really heartbreaking. Homeless shelters from Boston to Atlanta are turning people away because they are at maximum capacity. These are not just numbers, folks. These are real people sleeping outside in temperatures that can end a life within hours. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your location in the comments and tell me what you are seeing outside your window. What is happening across America is absolutely unprecedented, and I want to know how this is affecting your community specifically. The science behind what's happening is terrifying. We have a confirmed stratospheric sudden warming event occurring 30 kilometers above the Arctic, where temperatures have spiked over 100 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. This is causing the polar vortex to split into 2 separate cores around February 15th. Think of it like a massive spinning wall of cold air that normally keeps Arctic temperatures locked up north. Except now that wall is breaking apart and sending pieces of the Arctic directly into our neighborhoods. Scientists at MIT are describing this polar vortex as doing its best stretching impression, continuously elongating and compressing. What that means for you and your family is that we are entering a phase where brutal cold can strike with very little warning, and it is going to keep happening through the rest of winter and potentially into March. In the past 72 hours alone, 10 states have received new winter storm warnings. Alaska is facing wind gusts up to 95 miles per hour. Montana's Cook City area is bracing for up to 20 inches of fresh snow. Massachusetts just got hit with another clipper system that dumped 6 more inches on areas already buried under previous storms. Chicago is experiencing its coldest weather in 7 years, with O'Hare Airport logging 500 delays and over 50 cancellations on February 7th. But here's what's really concerning. While all this is happening, our homeless population is facing a genuine survival crisis. In New York City, outreach teams have found 17 people who did not survive the cold since January 19th. In Chicago, officials opened additional overnight warming centers as wind chills hit -40 degrees, but thousands of people are still sleeping outdoors with nowhere safe to go. Social workers report that many people experiencing homelessness are avoiding overcrowded shelters because of safety concerns and are choosing to risk the deadly cold instead. Hit that like button right now if you think this information is important for people to know, because what is coming next could affect millions more lives, and sharing this could literally help save someone in your community. What makes this situation a major issue is not just the current conditions, it is what meteorologists are predicting for the next few weeks. An atmospheric interference called the Madden-Julian Oscillation is temporarily shielding parts of the central and eastern United States from the full effects of this polar vortex breakdown. That means we are going to see some relief through mid-February, with temperatures rebounding from single digits to the 30s and 40s in many areas. But folks, this is temporary relief, not the end of the crisis. The atmospheric protection that is currently shielding us will not last forever. Weather experts are warning that the connection between the stratosphere and the surface is forecast to re-establish, potentially opening the door to new rounds of dangerous cold in the last third of February and early March. Let us break down what's happening state by state, because this is affecting people completely differently depending on where you live. Florida has experienced some of the most bizarre conditions imaginable. Every official climate monitoring site broke or tied record lows for 2 consecutive days. 2,500 cold-stunned iguanas had to be collected in just 2 days, as they literally fell from trees across South Florida. Tennessee took a devastating hit to its infrastructure. Nashville Electric Service reported peak outages affecting 235,000 customers, roughly half their entire service territory. As of February 7th, over 27,000 customers were still in the dark. Families have been spending $400 or more on propane and generators just to stay warm in their own homes. Mississippi officials called this the worst winter storm since 1994. Nearly 300,000 customers lost power, with 25,000 still without electricity on February 5th, almost 2 weeks after the initial storm hit. But here is some good news that shows infrastructure can work when properly prepared. Texas showed resilience this time, after the devastating grid failures during the winter storm in 2021. Battery storage increased from 220 megawatts to 17,000 megawatts. At peak demand, batteries supplied 9.5% of total grid power. It proves that lessons learned from past disasters can make a real difference. The Northeast has faced cold that just would not quit. Washington, D.C. endured 233 consecutive hours below freezing, the longest streak since 1989. New York City deployed 60 warming shelters and 20 warming buses that circulated continuously, but the demand still far exceeded capacity. The economic impact of this crisis is staggering. Natural gas prices have surged 78%. Over 17,700 flights have been canceled across both storm systems combined. Total confirmed damages have reached $4 billion, with estimates including commerce disruption reaching $115 billion. Now, here's the really wild part about this whole situation. While the eastern half of the country has been experiencing this historic cold, the western United States has been hitting temperature records in the complete opposite direction. Montana reached 70 degrees. Los Angeles hit 88 degrees, hotter than typical summer days. 5 Montana cities recorded their warmest November through January period in weather history. The contrast is so extreme that we literally have record heat and record cold happening simultaneously in the same country. Meanwhile, the West is experiencing the lowest snow cover in 25 years of satellite records. The Sierra Nevada is sitting at just 50 to 70% of normal snowpack, setting up potential water supply issues for millions of people this summer. Share this video immediately with anyone who needs to understand what's happening, because the next phase of this crisis could catch people completely off guard if they are not prepared for it. Here is what everyone needs to understand about the next 30 days. Around February 15th, we are going to see the polar vortex complete its split into 2 distinct cores. Weather models are already showing signals for a potentially significant winter storm in the Northeast from February 15th to February 21st. The timing and track are still uncertain, but both major forecasting systems are flagging this threat. For the immediate future, folks in the Pacific Northwest and Northern California should prepare for beneficial storm activity around February 13th through February 15th. This could help with the severe drought and low snowpack conditions that have developed. The Northeast needs to stay alert. What makes this situation particularly dangerous going forward is that the February 15th polar vortex split could create a pattern where Arctic air becomes even more unstable. Instead of staying locked up in the Arctic where it belongs, we could see repeated southward plunges of extremely cold air through the rest of winter and into early spring. The atmospheric setup is primed for additional storm development. For our most vulnerable neighbors experiencing homelessness, this has been a true life-or-death situation that is far from over. Boston shelters have been turning away people every night because they simply run out of space. In Philadelphia, outreach teams have found people trying to survive in 20 below wind chills using only cardboard and blankets. Recovery from this crisis is going to take months, even after the weather pattern finally shifts. Repairing hundreds of water main breaks, replacing damaged power infrastructure, clearing debris from wind and ice damage, and addressing the economic impacts on businesses and families will extend well into spring and summer. We are witnessing a winter weather pattern operating outside the bounds of what most emergency management systems were designed to handle. The combination of extreme cold, massive snowfall, ice accumulation, and hurricane-force winds in rapid succession has overwhelmed response capabilities across multiple states simultaneously. The bottom line is this: we are in the middle of a historic winter weather crisis that has already claimed 153 lives and caused billions in damage, with the atmospheric conditions driving it far from finished. The polar vortex split happening right now around February 15th means the most dangerous phase could still be ahead of us. The next few weeks will determine whether this becomes a winter that gets talked about for decades, or something even more significant. Stay safe, stay informed, and please look out for people in your community who might need help getting through what is still to come. This winter has already rewritten the record books, and it is not done with us yet.